What's good? I'm Alex Sedlak. I make about $120,000 to $150,000 a month right now. I'm 23 years old. And here's the complete reality of what that's like at this point in my life. And I don't want this to come around like I'm bragging whatsoever. I just know that a lot of people dream of being at this level. And I want to tell you guys what it's been like for me. I started doing online business in 2019. I was doing 10K a month for quite some time, 10K a month, 10K a month, 20K a month for about 2 to 3 years. I was kind of plateaued at 20, 30, sometimes 40K a month for quite some time. And within the past 6 months, I finally blew past that 100K marker, which was huge to me. Once I saw that in my bank statement that I actually did more than 100K in a month for the first time, I was like, wow, like that's crazy, you know, that first month when that happened. But I'm gonna tell you about how I got here, because it wasn't overnight. I don't have rich parents. I'm not a trust fund kid at all. I grew up in a small town in Ohio. My parents got divorced when I was in 5th grade. My dad made a majority of the money until my mom and dad got divorced. My mom started selling houses, and then she started doing well for herself. But keep in mind, we still live in a small town in Ohio, so the houses that she's selling are not like incredibly expensive, and realtors only get 2 to 3% commission. So it's like she was doing well for herself. She took care of me, my siblings very, very well, given the situation that she was in, and she grew up homeless. And my dad and I never really got along. I can't really remember my dad ever really were giving me much. I remember this one time very vividly. He got me a pair of sandals, and I was like, dang, my dad actually got me something. For Christmas he would get me some stuff like fishing gear, even though I didn't fish at all. So at that time it was kind of weird, like tools and shit like that. Never really anything crazy, but I don't say that to obviously shit on my dad. Love my dad. We've always butted heads. That's kind of like a father-son relationship, but that's that. Like, I didn't come from anything, so I've created what I've created from what I've done. They've gave me a roof over my head and food, and that was about that. And I think what allowed me to get to where I was at was I grew up playing video games a lot, and I know a lot of other entrepreneurs will say this, like, transmuting that addiction from video games to like a real life achievable thing is really what will make all the difference. Because I grew up playing every game you could think of, like, not really. I was a Call of Duty player. I loved Call of Duty, like online. I was nasty. Fortnite, when it first came out, I was like one of the best in my school. Not kidding when I say that. Like, I was fucking nasty. And then once I dropped out of college when I was a freshman and I didn't have any plans whatsoever, that's kind of when I realized, like, I really need to figure something out right now. Like, it's really all on me. I have to make it work. It's either I'm going to be a deadbeat dropout or I'm going to make something work for myself. And I could just never in a million years imagine a reality for myself where I wasn't living a life that I wanted to live, where I could do whatever I wanted. Like, freedom has always been such a massive thing for me. I worked countless jobs in high school that I always ended up quitting because I needed freedom. Like, if it was like a nice day outside and I had to go to work, I just wouldn't go to work because I wanted to be outside. Like, I needed freedom. So I got fired from like 5 or 6 jobs. When I dropped out of college, I had a job at a hospital that paid like $14 an hour. And to me at the time, like, that was good. I worked 40 hours a week. So it got me by for the time being. And while I was working at that job, I was posting on TikTok, and I was one of the first people on TikTok. And a lot of you guys probably have seen me on TikTok. Been here since I started on TikTok. So if that's you, you're a fucking real one, and I appreciate you so much. This journey has been crazy. I was one of the first people on TikTok. I was posting in 2019 before anybody was on that shit. So it was very easy for me to gain traction on TikTok because I understood basic psychology. I understood what it took to really connect with someone on an emotional level and really get them to like you. So I posted 4 or 5 TikToks a day every single day for like 2 years. And then I met my mentor at the time, who taught me how the basics understanding of business worked, because I didn't understand that, so he taught me how to convert followers into dollars, essentially. And like, that was really what changed my life, is building that personal brand. And I think if you don't have a personal brand right now, I don't know what you're doing. Obviously it's going to be a little harder. You're competing with a lot more people, but there's nothing that'll ever give you as much freedom as a personal brand. And if it wasn't for a personal brand, I would not be here. No way in fuck. Like, 0% chance. Obviously I probably would have figured something out because that's just who I am, but a personal brand made the process much more expedited and much easier. So personal brand really helped me out a lot. So 2 years came around. He taught me how business worked, basically, and how to sell something for $1,000. And I started doing one-on-one, so I would get like 20 one-on-one clients a month for $1,000, and that paid for everything. I was like, when I first made my first $1,000 in a day, I was in my mom's basement. I ran up to her. I was like, Mom, I just made $1,000 today. And she was like, holy shit, what? Like, that's pretty crazy. She's never been like, oh my God, like, oh, that's crazy. You know, even now, even when I'm making $100-something thousand a month, she's just like, that's insane. You know, like, that's crazy. So I remember that. So I made $28,000 my first month of having like a one-on-one high ticket thing. And then the very next month I moved to Miami because I wanted to get pressure put on myself. So I'm in Miami. I got crazy high expenses. I've only made like one good month of income. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm 20 years old, you know, 20 years old, just turned 20. So I moved to Miami. I don't speak any Spanish at all. I'm down there. I see everyone flexing their Lamborghinis and shit. I'm like, whoa. Keep in mind, small town Ohio. I'm in Miami now. I'm like, holy shit, like this is a different echelon of life here. I loved that, you know, at the time I really loved that environment because it showed me what's possible. And I was like, dude, if all these people are doing it, like I can so do it, bro. Like there's no reason I can't do it. So I lived there for about 2 years and no really major improvements were made in my life while living in Miami other than like meeting a lot of people and like kind of using the Miami lifestyle as kind of like a marketing thing and like a positioning thing where it's because a lot of people look up to that lifestyle. A lot of people want to live that fast life. So kind of using that as like positioning of like, yeah, I lived that lifestyle. A lot of people enjoyed that content. I enjoyed living there too, going to the clubs, going on yachts. It literally felt like real life GTA. Crazy. After that, I moved to a city north of Miami. I lived there for 2 years and I moved to Boca Raton. Lived there for 9 months. Then I got this house that I'm currently in Ohio. And it's crazy because I think everything kind of changed when I got this house back in my hometown. When I saw like really what I created, you know, because before that I was living in apartments. I didn't even own anything, you know. When I finally got like a large amount of space, I realized like this is mine, you know, like the apartment's not yours, you know, it's like you're renting it. When I finally had something that was like big and spacious and like my own land, that's when I really woke up to like, holy shit, like that's dope. The cars are cool, whatever. I just got an X6M BMW, and now that's a fucking dope car. If you don't know what that is, I'm so happy with that car. It's insane. Yeah, I'm bouncing back and forth from Ohio and Florida right now. I'm in Ohio right now. I'm gonna be back in Florida pretty soon. I bounce back and forth, like I said, because I have all my hometown friends here that I still grow up with, that I love dearly. And a lot of people, when they get successful, they feel like they need to cut off their hometown friends. And I don't agree with that mentality whatsoever. I don't think that's necessary. I love my friends. I've grown up with them. They loved me before I had any money. While obviously, like we're like they love things that I don't love. Like that's what love is, bro. It's acceptance. You know, like you love that, I love this. Like that's cool. You know, like they've never asked me for money. They never like would use me. They're always there for me when I need something. That's love, bro. It's hard to find people like that, you know, like especially in Miami, especially once you get clout, once you get money, everyone, like this is really true here. It's like everyone just wants to talk business. Everyone just wants to see how they can utilize your positioning and your influence and your money. And it just gets tiring, bro. Like every person I meet just wants to talk about that shit, you know, like they just want to talk about, dude, let's make some moves. Like, bro, like I'm cool. You know, like I don't need anybody to make moves with, you know, like if the opportunity's cool and the person's cool, like sure, I'll hop on your wave. But like I really have done everything myself up to this point, you know. I've never really needed anybody else's money, anyone else's platform. Like I've done everything I've done with myself. So when people come in trying to get me to like help them with their business and shit, it's like, yeah, I want to help people, but like not in the way that they want me to help them. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I love being in Ohio, even though the weather here is dog shit right now. It's snowing. I'm looking out the window. It's just brutally cold. I love my friends, bro. Even in the winter, there's nothing to do here. I love them, and I don't think if you want to be successful, you don't need to completely cut off your friends. Obviously, when I was in my growth process, like I needed to hunker down and focus. I didn't hang out with them as much because like I valued my time a lot. I didn't fucking cut them off, but I didn't hang out with them as much. So that's that. So, I mean, the moral of this message is the reality of what making $150,000 a month is. For me, it's kind of weird because it's like, whenever my bank account goes from a new 100,000, so like say 400,000 to 500,000, say I'm at $505,000 in my bank account, I feel like 499,000 is like $0. And I can't fix that in my brain. You know, I think that's what's allowed me to grow so fast and not spend my money so quickly. But you know, it's like my lifestyle hasn't changed that much. You know, it's like I still value a dollar. No, definitely not a dollar. I still value money. You know, I don't lose sight of what it's worth and how hard I had to work to get it. You know, and I think that's the difference between people who work for their money and people who are given their money. Because like I don't just go around pissing money and throwing money away on stupid shit. You know, like I like to gamble, but I only will ever gamble with $1,000 at a time. You know, like you see these streamers gambling with $5 million fucking dollars. I could never in my life do that because I had to work really hard for this money. And like, as quickly as you make the money, you can lose it. And that's what so many people don't understand is like, you have to value money. Even though money's fake, if you don't respect it to an extent, you're going to lose all of it. And this has happened to me. I dropped an NFT project not too long ago, and I was 20 years old. I didn't know shit about business. You know, I didn't understand what was going on. No, I was 21, but I still didn't understand like how business really worked at a real level yet. So I made $200,000 in revenue, and I paid my team out of revenue and not profit. So I ended up losing like $180,000 of it, and the NFT was in Solana, and Solana is shit. So I literally lost all that money. And when I first saw that number hit my account, I was like, dude, I'm fucking rich. I don't need to do anything. So I started buying hella tables at the clubs, buying stupid shit. And before you know it, that money was gone. And it took me a long time to make it back. So the reality of like living like this lifestyle is it really just depends on the individual. But for me, I don't want to change my lifestyle that much. You know, I could go get a Lamborghini. I could get a massive house, but then I would just have to keep working harder and harder and harder, you know, to keep up with my expenses. Whereas like I have a nice house, I have 2 really great cars. I don't really need much else, you know. It's like I like being able to go on vacations, and I like being able to like bless my friends whenever like I want to without having to worry about it, without even batting an eye at it, you know. I like to try to remain modest. My girlfriend does a great job at keeping me modest, I'll be honest, because like I'll be like, ooh, should I go get a new Rolex? And she'll say, Alex, you don't need a new Rolex. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. I don't need a new Rolex. Like, and a lot of people will just like they buy things to not only impress themselves but to impress other people, and that's like that'll lead you down a path of like just complete sadness. And it's really easy to fall into that because you think like you need to buy this and you need to buy this in order to be accepted, and like that's not the case, bro. Like, especially if you're on Twitter, like you don't need to do all that shit, bro. You don't need a Rolex, you don't need a fucking luxury car, although these money Twitter meatheads will make you feel like you do. Although it does really do something to your ego and to your confidence, you don't need that. Like, I personally love my cars and I love my watch, but like if it's to the point where you're like, I need this, or else you don't feel good about yourself, like, bro, like you need to accept yourself before any of that shit will matter at all. You know, like I've gone through 4 cars and I get bored of cars really quickly. So if you're putting your happiness in a material thing and expecting like once I get this car I'm gonna be happy, it's not the case whatsoever. You know, it's like you think everything will change once you're making $100K a month, which it does to an extent. Like, you have way more freedom, you can do basically whatever you want, which is a great fucking feeling, traveling wherever you want, doing whatever you want. You have a chip on your shoulder knowing like if anyone tries to like talk shit to you or make you feel like they're better than you, you know deep down you're like, dude, like you're broke. Like, come on. Not that money makes everyone mean anything to the world, it makes you kind of have like a better respect for yourself because you know what you've created from zero. So I've made my money throughout my whole career from my personal brand, and I'm not gonna sit here and cap and say that my money hasn't come from my personal brand, because it has. It's come from building trust with people and providing value to people. Like right now, my main source of income is a TikTok course. Well, it's not my main source, it's one of my main sources. I have a TikTok course that helps people monetize TikTok Shop, and people are getting fucking absurd results. Like, one member did $40,000 in profit in his first month, you know? So if I wasn't providing people those results, I wouldn't be getting results for myself either, you know? That's how business kind of works. So yeah, my business is booming, but it's only booming because I'm helping other people, you know? Like, that's how I like to look at it. Like, if I one day stop getting results for people, then my business is gonna go to shit too. So I have to continue providing value, or my business isn't going to be shit. So, you know, it's like they go hand in hand. And a lot of people talk shit about selling courses, saying like, if you really want to make money, just sell a course. I'm like, bro, like, try to sell a course. Try to do it yourself. Please do it. Like, please try to do it. You know, it's hard because now everyone's tried to sell a course, so no one's going to do it anymore because everyone's skeptical because they all think they're scams. So getting someone's trust enough to buy your course is a difficult thing in today's world. So before you talk shit about it or talk shit about anyone for selling a course, like, understand how hard it is to get people's trust in today's internet. Like, it's hard. So if anyone's doing well selling a course, they are probably providing some sort of value. They have to be, or else it would not succeed at all. So keep that in mind. It's a crazy world that we live in. Money's everywhere. But yeah, money is what will give you freedom. It'll give you mobility, but it will never change who you deeply are as an individual. So if you want to live a better life, you just got to make yourself better. Go to the gym, have healthy habits. All that fucking guru shit that people talk about, the biohacking, like journal every day, all the simple things that add up to you becoming a good individual is what will actually make you look in the mirror and say, like, I respect that human, right? It's not going to be the number in your bank account, because once you have a big number in your bank account, you realize that's all it is, a number in your bank account. If you really want a better reputation with yourself, you gotta show up every single day, just like I have, every single day. And now I can kind of take my foot off the gas a little bit, not all the way, but I can take my foot off the gas a little bit because I've worked the past 4 years to get to where I am right now. So hopefully this gives you guys a little insight about the reality of what it's like, and hopefully motivate you guys, inspire you guys to go out and do the same. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. More growth, more life. Much love.